Marvel guys, they're struggling right now. If you were to look up in the dictionary for the perfect example of the worst possible media campaign you could run for a movie leading up to its release, you would probably see something from Rachel Zegler and what is going on right now with Anthony Mackie with the lead up to Captain America Brave New World.
Anthony Mackie is just on a roll with the negative press for Captain America Brave New World. And his newest comment is just bizarre, and it seems unprompted by anything I've seen online. He just told the internet to chill the F out over comparing Donald Trump to Harrison Ford's Red Hulk. He said, "I hope, as a country, we're tired of all the political jousting. Let's just go to the movies and chill the F out. We could have made this MFer yellow, and it would have been a problem."
I'm not gonna lie. just to stop. This is weird, either gaslighting or some type of wish fulfillment, because until he said this, I never heard a single person compare Donald Trump to Red Hulk. I don't think ever.
Why? Like, what would have been the reason to compare him to that character?
Well, because
anyway?
Thunderbolt Ross is the president in this movie who becomes Red Hulk, which they haven't addressed yet. At least as far as I know, they haven't addressed yet how he becomes Red Hulk. I don't know if there's some type of gamma radiation experiment that goes wrong, or if maybe I like the idea that they try to force. Now, I know that this would be a departure from the comments or from the comics, but maybe they try to force Falcon to get the super soldier serum. They try to force him to do it, and he just won't. Mm-hmm. And then he accidentally gets given to Thunderbolt Ross. That would be kind of cool.
They say in this article that it was inevitable that people were going to compare Trump to this character. One thing the actor is not looking forward to is the politicization of the movie. That's ironic given that Anthony Mackie is one of the main people politicizing this movie with everything he says about it, relating it back to racial politics, representation discourse, and why he feels Captain America shouldn't represent America or American values. But I digress. After all, Brave New World stars Harrison Ford as the U.S. president who transforms into the volatile Red Hulk. Comparisons to Donald Trump were likely inevitable and have already become a regular thing online prior to the movie's release.
A lot of people believe that that the original version of this script had far more blatant comparisons of Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk to Trump, and that those were the things that were fixed in rewrites.
Okay.
In the reshoots for the film. I'm going to read you. So they talk about the way that Marvel and Disney try to walk this stuff back when they do promotional tours overseas. This is what they talk about. It says, let me be clear about this. I'm a proud American, and taking up the shield as a hero like Cap is an honor of a lifetime. I have the utmost respect for those who serve and have served in our country. Cap has universal characteristics that people all over the world can relate to, which is quite likely precisely how Mackie originally meant it. The MCU's previous Cap said something similar while promoting Captain America in 2011. His quote was, "I am not trying to get too lost in the America side of it. This isn't a flag-waving movie. He should just be called Captain Good." We already made fun of that. The sentiment is almost certainly part of Disney Marvel's infamous media training for the 85-year-old character. Emphasize Cap's positive universal qualities, not his specific Americaness, which comes with potentially jingoistic associations, particularly when promoting the movie across the overseas, which of course it was going on over in Italy when this was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really understand why he felt the need to comment on it, though.
I have no idea why he brought up Trump when nobody else was bringing it up.
Well, in the Esquire interview where this comes from, they're getting him to comment on politics. They're getting him to comment on his own public perception in the media. Mm. And another thing they addressed was the fact that Anthony Mackie has a reputation for being stuck up and rude.
Very mad he hasn't won an Oscar yet.
He's also making comments about how he's been snubbed by the Oscars before, and that playing Captain America is going to have to be his version of an Oscar. But I've brought this up on the show before, that he has this bad reputation for being stuck up and rude, and they asked him to address that online discourse from recent months. There were claims that Anthony Mackie is the rudest celebrity some fans have ever met in real life. One story that went viral on social media was told by a young woman who claimed that Anthony Mackie once pulled up in a huge effing truck next to her at a gas station, started smoking a cigar, and then rejected her when she tried to engage with him as a fan. So, per Esquire, Mackie recalls the interaction differently. He says he was already having a bad week. Someone had recently found his phone number, 120 missed calls, AI, death threats. He pulled into the gas station and this woman, quote, jumps out of the car, and I simply looked at her and said, no, he recalls. Plus, he adds another hole in the story. What idiot smokes next to a gas pump? Maybe Anthony Mackie.
Apparently. There's a 20 here from Just 'Cause I'm Free. Says, isn't this the same movie that had Hulk punch Captain America's shield and blocks it? Didn't Abomination back in the day get kicked across the field by Green Hulk? Well, I mean, a lot of people were pointing out early that it made no sense that Sam Wilson was able to block Red Hulk's punch with the shield. Even if the shield disperses the energy, he still doesn't have super soldier serum. You can get in all sorts of comic shop level disagreements back and forth about power levels and stuff like that. And that's interesting enough. We're not even that deep into something like this right now. It's more just the fact that by his own words, he's drawn these parallels back to politics, which aren't doing anything to help them. Look, they need the normies for this movie to succeed. Normies don't know that any of this stuff is going on. Normies have to want to go and see your movie and like it well enough to recommend it to their friends. But look, we've also pointed out that a lot of times when these articles get written, they talk about how they think the YouTubers hate them. I think that the places that write these articles hate these movies just as much and hate these actors just as much. Otherwise, they wouldn't write stuff like, because they know that writing these articles will end up making people mad at them. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter, where they keep comparing it. So it says, yet Brave New World nonetheless provides an easy target for those looking to read too much into things and use the film for metaphorical comparisons on both sides of the political spectrum. As Donald Trump hands out paradigm-shifting executive orders, Brave New World offers up Harrison Ford as the power-mad U.S. president who turns into Red Hulk, wreaking havoc on everything in sight. There's also an assassination attempt on Ford's character, which was removed from the film's trailer in July after the attempt on Trump's life. The film was originally titled New World Order, and you can imagine how the fun anti-globalist conspiracy crowd would have had fun with that one. You know what it makes me think of? Do you guys remember when Sound of Freedom was coming out and they called it QAnon tinged? Even though the movie had nothing to do with QAnon, which, by the way, I don't know, yesterday when we were talking about right-wing movies, that could be an example of perhaps a conservative movie that was actually quite good. I wish I had thought of it yesterday in the discussion. But the point being that the media hated these people.
I love how it's just an anti-PDF file movie and it's a right-wing movie.
Yeah.
Like, that says it all, doesn't it?
Well, it's like what they say. Kyle Rittenhouse shoots 3 people in a crowd and at a left-wing mob, and one of them turns out to be a pedophile, one of them turns out to be in a... bad stuff.
They also add here the race discourse as another reason why Brave New World is a target by the online right. They say another very ugly part of the Brave New World backlash is that Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson promotion to Captain America is getting dubbed as a DEI move, particularly in the wake of Trump's anti-DEI rhetoric and his executive orders making DEI-related government hiring changes. This is despite Chris Evans' Steve Rogers having a fulfilling arc as Captain America and then passing the shield to a logical successor in Mackie's character, who then starred
not as logical as Bucky. And it doesn't matter. I'm sorry, but it doesn't matter anyways, because the reason why it ends up becoming a focus of conversation at all is because they didn't just make a Sam Wilson Falcon movie.
Marvel's handover felt considered, gradual, and earned, far more than it arguably needed to be for a comic book franchise that routinely makes sudden creative changes. Whether you appreciate Anthony Mackie's take on Cap or no, the man has been in the MCU since 2014 and has put in plenty of hours.
He is. Look, guys, you hear me sing the praises of the YouTuber Greg Owens all the time. He did a great video yesterday on why he thinks this movie is going to fail and the problems they had with trying to develop a story arc for Sam Wilson, which they just didn't do. I recommend that after this episode today, you go and watch that video because it's unbelievably well done, and he is articulate in a way that I wish I could be, but I'm not, so that's not the point. The point here, guys, is that organic diversity is not something that gets criticized unless it is in the service of removing a character that was once one way and is now another way. Nobody criticizes the diversity of the Fast and the Furious movies. You can criticize those movies all you want for the slop, but it's an organically diverse movie and nobody cares that the actors look a certain way or they're of a certain race. But the second they started talking about making a women-only Fast and the Furious movie, people were like, no, that's bullshit. Nobody wants that because they can feel the agenda in it. So
they also make mention of Snow White here in this article as another target for Disney, and they end with this conclusion that brilliantly makes an excuse for Disney, saying the best way for a company with enormous and intense fan engagement to handle controversy is to just assume that it will always be there. The best way to handle controversy is actually to avoid it altogether. Like, it's not inevitable that there will be these controversies.
Wait, who should
they're saying that the studio needs to just assume controversies will happen no matter what.
Okay.
How about instead of that, you just keep your talent on a leash and tell them to stop making political statements?
The crazy thing is he's like, look, I wish I could tell you about all the stuff that happens in the movie, but it's so good you're just gonna have to wait and see it in theaters. Like, wait until you get the first interaction. Wait until Sam Wilson meets Ross in the Oval Office. It's amazing.
You know, he's talent under contract, obviously, to play this character, but he's also talent under contract to sell the movie. That's another part of his job as the actor.
Yeah.
So I don't see why they can't just script his interviews, too. At this point, it's just gotten to such an extreme where talent are allowed to wreck the promotion for their movies constantly.
Well, I liked what they said from the, like, what they were saying. This was kind of what my tweet was about the other day when I talked about here, where they said they try to soften the language for these overseas interviews. And I said, the fact of the matter is, you're walking a tightrope and it's almost unwinnable. Anything can be pulled out of context. But the problem is, all he had to say in that moment, when he made that initial statement to about being Cap, before he, the one he initially made about not focusing on the America part. Now, I know that this is Monday Morning Quarterback. He says, look, I am an absolutely proud American. And then you have to mention the part that says, like, but America isn't the only focus of this movie. Cap has universal traits. Now, you're still going to get some people that are going to clip from before you said that. But anybody who's acting in good faith and gets the whole comment there should at least be able to gather that you tried to address the fact. But otherwise, how about you just actually go rah-rah America while in Italy? Who cares?
We have a big super chat from Just 'Cause I'm Free. So basically, a black man with no super soldier serum or superpowers is able to block a punch from Hulk, while other people with superpowers get wrecked by Hulk. Must be that DEI plot armor that only applies to women and racial minorities. Boring.
No, look, I still don't know that they don't address it in the movie. Like, it would actually, like, I actually think, now this is just me off the top of my head, I almost said bloviating. It is a bit bloviating. I would love for them to address the fact that they try to get him to take the serum and he doesn't want it. And you have a whole arc about, does Captain America have to be a super soldier? Does I don't think that's probably something they should have addressed in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Then it's going to get
TV
compared to vaccine mandates.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. But, does Captain America have to have the superpowers to be the symbol of hope and optimism that America needs? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But it would be something interesting to discuss in the movie. I'd rather it just be stuff blowing up for 2 hours. I would rather he just have to... I would rather that Ross get mad, turn into Red Hulk, start destroying stuff, and he has to stop him. Very simple. You can do this.
It's not a formula I'm personally interested in, but it is one that has been proven to work multiple times.
Yeah. Oh yeah. David Gallinat in the chat says black boy magic. Remember black girl magic in the Marvels? That was
Yeah, I do remember. Unfortunately,
that was rough to me.
Just kind of ruined Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like, let's just.
Maybe they did go into it in the series. I didn't make it through Captain America, through Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so they could have addressed it in there. It's probably not worth it in the movies. But the point being, that was like how far they've fallen with Nick Fury. Oh, and he was so good in all of the previous Avengers movies and in the Captain America movies, and then he kind of becomes a stereotype in the later ones. I wasn't a fan of that.
Stereotype of what?
Well, I mean, just that type of a stereotype of like the worst type of Marvel humor.
Oh, well,
like,
yeah.
He's like, his character is
it's like
inherently
knock,
serious.
knock joke. No,
Yeah.
it's not even knock joke. It's like tweets.
Yeah.
They're like using online discourse and online language.
Yeah. He's a dude who's run like black ops organizations. He doesn't talk like that.
He doesn't say black girl magic.
Yeah.
Also, people don't say that in real life anyway. Like, that's just not a thing that people say
True.
out loud if they have any self-respect.
We will have to wait and see what happens with this movie. I am still going to go see it again. Like I said, these types of comments more interesting than that. Like if it's just traditional topics or comments on politics and stuff like that, probably doesn't bother me. It's more disconcerting when it's about the movie specifically and on the press tour. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns some people off, but I also don't think that the internet is real life. And if this movie fails, it won't be because of these comments. It'll be because, like the doctor the other day, they're making another one? I had a doctor who said, I didn't know they were making another Captain America movie. That is far more likely to be the reason your movie fails than, these comments from Anthony Mackie. But maybe some modern day rewrites of your press tour ideas would be a good concept.
Definitely.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.